Rams, Rams, and more Rams. Half-ton, 3/4, 1-ton pickup trucks. We've got trucks, 2025s rolling in, but we still have 2022 model years sitting on the lot, 23s and 24s. We have a whole raft of pickup trucks, brand new, that aren't even selling on this lot. All of these are more or less classic Rams. Warlocks, Rebels, all kinds of different trucks. We have Sports over here, basic plain Jane 4x4s. Yes, these are great. The Sports is an attractive truck. Has a lot of different tech here tied into this vehicle, and it's a moderately spec'd out vehicle. We have a nice sunroof. Of course, we have the big display and the full-size 4-door right here. It's great. A lot of these vehicles, you'll notice tons of them all the way down the lot here. And then over here, we have a pile more vehicles, including some more Sports right here that clearly aren't selling, even with some of the huge incentives. When I talked to the sales buddy here, he said that the only trucks that were really selling were the Sports because they were cheap enough, but only because they were grossly incentivized, $18,000, $19,000, $20,000 off of sticker, and you could still negotiate. And those are the only trucks that are really moving all that quickly. So why aren't these trucks selling for Ram? Well, could it be that they're some of the highest priced trucks? And when we look at price of some of these vehicles, they're much more money than even some of their competition from Chevy and GM. And conversely, we know Chevy and GM combined are selling more trucks than Ford recently, where Ford outdoes either one of them, but collectively GM product, they're selling more full-size trucks. And compared to Ram, like these beautiful vehicles here, these don't actually seem like that great a value when you're shopping this compared to a Ford. Here's a 1500 Hemi e-torque. Ram, of course, basic here. We have the standard type of handles and a very basic standard set of wheels. And there you go. It's a very simple vehicle. Big horn, 4x4, beautiful black chrome tips on there. I love the looks of that. We have the painted flares on here, stepping boards right here as well. So we have what I would look at this and call it a moderate spec. I mean, we have lots of this plastic, black plastic finishing. And so it does have some of the detail in here. It's the 1500 Hemi e-torque. You are not getting a sunroof in there. You are getting some, looks like vinyl seats and a mix of features. So it's sort of a middle of the road, but this vehicle here would not hold a candle in terms of value compared to GM, and that's why GM's selling more vehicles. But at the end of the day, a lot of these trucks aren't selling. Well, we know Stellantis, Ram, Dodge, they're doing a big shakeup. There's VPs getting kicked out, pushed out, retired, and they're not having a job anymore. A company generally doesn't take those aggressive maneuvers when a company's flourishing and doing well and at making all sorts of money. You like to leave status quo. But clearly, Ram, Stellantis, these products are not selling. People are mad. These prices are just out of this world. And buyers have literally had about enough out of the high prices of a lot of these modern day pickup trucks. Here, even a basic truck like this is nothing to write home about, but you're still gonna pay $55,000, $60,000 for this old school Ram 1500 Classic, which quite honestly is more or less a 20-year-old chassis, a 20-year-old vehicle with a very basic setup. So they haven't even really tried to reinvent the wheel, but they've clearly escalated the price to a point where people just feel a slap in the face because the value's not there. Car and truck buyers' backs are literally broken, and that's part of the problem. They've literally taken so much for so long. What we're seeing are vehicles like this. Now, the average transaction price are about $47,000 for the average vehicle, and the average car payment is in that $750, $800 a month per car payment. Would you believe they're actually up to 14% of car loans today are over $1,000 a month? That's a mortgage payment. So instead of spending all the money on these brand new trucks, even though there's some great incentives, I know a lot of people personally that instead of buying this Ram 1500 Classic with basic plastic, steel rims, 1500 Classic, this has got the V6 under the hood, which is nothing really to write home about, and you're still paying 55, 60 grand for this vehicle. Very basic setup, plastic. Yes, you can tow a little bit of weight, but there's nothing much simple. You don't have a slider back there, you have the plastic handles. But if you look, this vehicle is very much like my old Ram right here, and clearly this vehicle here, a lot of people are electing to keep their old trucks on the road. Even with these high-priced, highly incentivized trucks like this are not selling. People are mad about the very price of a lot of these modern day trucks. I mean, look at this. It's not a whole lot different from this. New generation, still pretty much new old stock. Truck buyers are getting especially frustrated with the prices of these brand new trucks Clearly the quality's not there, but yet they're losing the pool. They're losing the types of vehicles they can actually choose from. Have you heard lately, even the Toyota Tundra with that 3.4 liter twin turbo V6 are having main bearing failures, and so people can't even put the trust in a quality product like a Toyota, and now the pool of selection is shrinking much tighter, and it's becoming more of a monopoly, allowing these automakers to charge more and more and more. I mean, $50,000, $60,000, $65,000, $80,000 for this little rig. And come down here and we'll see a whole pile, Bighorns. These vehicles here are closer to about $85,000 right here. And nothing is cheap in the Ram stable anymore. And if you think things are going to get any better for the pricing of these Rams here, you can think again, because we're starting to see prices escalate already for 2025 for almost every manufacturer of full-size pickup truck. And a lot of it is to cover vehicles like this. Why? Because Jeep and Stellantis, making Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, are making a lot more electric vehicles. We see the blue. Yes, that's the 4xe. That basically means that they're trying to manufacture a lot more electrified vehicles. That's going to come at a significant cost. The batteries are pricey, they're going up, and on top of it, access to those expensive batteries are becoming much more difficult. And the research and development by all these manufacturers, whether it's GM, Ford, Stellantis, Rams, are going to go up because the research and development costs are just going through the roof. It costs labor, get these packaged up properly engineered, it's going to cost a lot more money, and of course the technology itself costs at least 50 to 75% more than their ICE equivalent to manufacture. I fully anticipate these truck prices are going to go through the roof, because we're seeing over at Ford what's starting to happen. The Lightning, the Mustang Mach-E are going down. They're losing a significant amount of money, and Ford's reported massive losses because of the production of every one of their electric vehicles are creating a situation where they have to charge more for their internal combustion engine to fund the losing parts of the business. Even the commercial operations is pitching in a significant amount to pay for a lot of the electric vehicle design and manufacturing. And customers are just getting downright upset about this whole truck cost situation, where they believe they're being guinea pigs, and they're looking at vehicles like this. We have a beautiful new F-150, and this one here is a 4x4 Super Crew. We are dealing with a Lariat, so clearly it is a more upper trim type truck. We do have the latest design, and of course, I mean, all these great badging and nice updates only go so far. I mean, that'll bring in some customers, but most people are just making a decision that, you know, these are just too much money to buy, so I'm just gonna stick with my old truck, because who in fact has enough money to pay for a brand new, what do we have here, 2024 F-150 4x4 Super Crew, 145-inch wheelbase, 3.5 liter power boost with the 10-speed automatic transmission. And this truck here is stickered. We see $80,500 base price, some other options about 15 grand. Total vehicle options, $95,000 plus destination and delivery, and now you have a grand total of about $97,755. You get a series Lariat discount here and another black pack discount, another $500 off, total reductions $2,250. So they are trying to give a little bit of a deduction with some of these vehicles. Clearly the writing's on the wall, even the base price is there, but they've made some amendments because they know these trucks are not selling all that well. Even with the nice updated interior and the front grills with the new black decal, it's just not enough to get people to buy these, because people do feel like they're being the guinea pigs for these very expensive $100,000 truck. You do the math on that on a 5-year, even with a minimal down payment, you're probably going to be paying $1,600 to $1,800 a month for a car payment of this magnitude on a 5-year car loan. It's just out of control. So Ford's commercial division's one of the only areas that's actually been saving their bacon. Even though these trucks are not cheap, they are in fact the vehicles that people need for commercial use. Here we have a Super Duty, and of course this one here comes in at a grand total of $107,700, and it's a 24 F350 crew cab. Lariat has the 6.7 liter turbo diesel, and it's clearly meant for work, heavy duty truck. And the commercial division of Ford are the only vehicles that literally are keeping them afloat. We look at here, we have more fleet trucks here coming in, more fleet trucks over there, and of course a whole lot of service fleet trucks over there getting all fixed. Now the other big problem, Ford promised to provide a truck that was $20,000, $30,000, and this was what you're basically looking at. But unfortunately, when in practice, these trucks don't come in that cheap. We're looking at an XLT version. Sure, you get some basic wheels, plastic, no sunroof. It's a very basic interior on these vehicles. You do get a couple of little tie downs here, but essentially without a slider on the back and a very basic set of gear on this vehicle, this basic Maverick or XLT, which is more or less middle to upper level trim, you're still going to pay almost 50 grand. This vehicle here was 40 and change, and then out the door with taxes and extras, you're almost 50 grand out the door. So much for an affordable truck. And Ford Raptors, well, these have been sitting here a while. I've been watching these, and they have been on the lot for a significant amount of time just because they're just too much money. Not a lot of people are looking for these premium jacked up trucks. Sure, they're nice to have when you have the money. Interest rates are low, you have the premium job, everybody's making money hand over fist, but Raptors are a huge amount of cash, and right now isn't the time. People don't have the money, jobs are unstable, taxes are higher than they've ever been. The volatility of the economy is such that nobody wants to take a chance and buy these expensive trucks. People are mad, buyers are upset about this whole truck pricing market, and sadly now what we have is a situation where people are resisting to buy some of these pricey trucks and rather actually just keep what they've got. What's a new F-150 Tremor look like? Yeah, you got all the nice great details, all-terrain rubber on here. Love these little vents, very, very cute. Definitely like the looks of this truck. This has all the right bling without going over the top. Of course, you do get these beefy little step guards. And this one, stickers add base price 76 grand. Basically with the extras, you're up to about $76,700 as you see right there. A lot of people ask the question, if trucks aren't selling, then how is Ford staying afloat? Well, it's primarily because the commercial division like this is the biggest contributor to the earnings of Ford. They've made about $3 billion in the first quarter here of 2024. Meantime, the Blue Oval, consisting of trucks like this, the internal combustion gas trucks like this F-150 that we're looking right in front of us, the Platinum, also managed to make about $1.3 billion in the first quarter. So they're also making some money, and the profits from these pickup trucks here are all going to pay for the electrification side of the business. And this whole lineup here consists of the Ford Pro division trucks, and this division sold about 400,000 units at about $7,300 profit per each one of these commercial vehicles sold. Meantime, the Blue Oval, like the trucks we see all here, internal combustion, garden variety pickup trucks, F-150s, the ones that you, me, we would all buy, about 600,000 units sold at about $1,400 a pop, means that also contributed to some of the major sales for Ford. But the reality is these prices are jacked up too high, and all on the backs of the consumer like you and I trying to pay for these vehicles. But overall sales for Ford's down about 20%, and would you believe the E division, consisting of the Ford Mustang Mach-E or as the F-150 Lightning, are actually down 84% since the same time last year. And insiders say that Ford is losing $130,000 for every electric vehicle sold today. Makes it a very unprofitable business model, but yet we're paying for those vehicles with the sales of the escalated MSRPs on these brand new F-150s, as well as the Super Duty trucks like that. And then you have the Toyota Tundra, which was a great choice here for a while, and until they get it fixed, unfortunately, I think a lot of people are catching on that the Tundra has had some engine issues in this latest generation with the twin turbo V6, and the old 5.7 under the hood was a lot better choice. These vehicles here are becoming a little bit more questionable, and a lot of people are making the decision, well, I better stay away from that. I better go with one of the big threes, Chevy, GM, or Ford instead. In the meantime, while the cost of living crisis is real, manufacturers are still creating big vehicles like this, but the reality, this is an electric vehicle. This is the Hummer HV, as you see, or Hummer EV. And I like the looks of it, but it does come at a significant cost. The big, beautiful flares. You know, this does look a lot like a lot of other SUVs on the market, but the difference is it's GM, it's carrying the Hummer name or the Humvee name, and it's going to be a very expensive vehicle to enjoy. But this all comes at a cost because these vehicles are $130,000 sticker for this vehicle here. Now it's the price of these. Because they're electric vehicles, General Motors is having to dig in deep and pay for these electric vehicles with the sales of a lot of their internal combustion engines, just like Ford, just like Ram is planning to do as well. And if you look at this lot here, I mean, the average vehicle price here is probably close to $100,000 Canadian. And if you look at the number of vehicles, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, there's probably 30 vehicles on each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows times 30, you've got 150 vehicles. You've got serious money here laying out here with significant costs associated. I mean, right here we have a GMC. This one's the Denali. So this would be equivalent to what Ford had, the top trim there, the Lariat. And this here obviously is going to be somewhat comparable. We have the chrome rims, chrome detail here, more chrome on the handles, and beautiful touches like the chrome detail there. We have sunroof, leather interior in there. It's a beautiful truck. But there you go, $97,000. So they're all going to be in the very same price point. And GM and Chevy combined outsold Ford in terms of half-ton pickup trucks this year. But unfortunately, the cost of living crisis is such that most people can't afford a $100,000 truck. Forget about even the $100,000 truck. Even a base trim vehicle, like an Elevation here, is about as basic as you get in a GMC Sierra. This just gives you the 5.3 liter V8 engine. Of course, you do get the nice little drop down here. It's a 4-wheel drive. Basic style of rims there. You get plastic detail there. And there's no sunroof. You've got cloth seats in there. And it's a basic outfit here. And this does come with the 5.3 liter V8 right we see right here. You do get the plastic here, basic. Sounds kind of cheap. But there you have it. This is more or less the base model without going 2-wheel drive or, of course, the base. This is the next thing to it. And this vehicle is going to be priced, let's slide through here accordingly. And what are we looking at here? $72,734, folks. And this is a Sierra 1500 Crew Elevation, 4-wheel drive with the 5.3 liter cylinder deactivation. So this is basically fairly low end, and it's still costing over $70,000. Out the door, it's going to be close to $80,000. And so with trucks that are costing $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, that means most people are going to have to dig in real deep into their pockets just to get out their wallet to pay for these vehicles that they truly can't afford. And they either that or they just continue driving some of their older jalopies like those. And with unemployment somewhat stable, but interest rates are still holding steady, as well as inflation, it just means that people are still struggling to make those payments. $1,000 a month? Not an easy payment to make now, is it, for most people? So at the end of the day, people are getting very upset, cranky, and I can't blame them. We're all in the same boat together, and very few people can truly afford these very expensive vehicles. But on top of that, definitely want to check out that right there about how people can truly make the best decisions and avoid some of the worst when you're buying a vehicle. And as well, 6-speed reviews, a great review right down there. You want to check it out and subscribe over there while you're there. Thanks. See you then. Bye-bye.